Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Full Sail Online Lectures. My name is Steve Kane, and once again, we are on the audio workstations, and we have got our Thursday week 4 lecture. It's Thursday, August 19th. It's finally getting a little bit cooler here in Florida. I got a small audience here tonight. We've got a nice little intimate lab group. Claude, James, Jaron, Meshach, Mitch, Rich, Richard, and Zach are all with me so far. If I get some others coming up, I will try to give them some shout outs. But I'll tell you what we're going to start doing tonight is we're going to do everything again, top to bottom, but super quick, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to do everything, and then we're going to go over this exact rubric, right? And then we are going to go over the session delivery and prepping it. And that's how we're going to spend a lot of this. And that's where we really got to do some neat little work and make sure that we're paying attention here on the make sure you deliver it right, all right? This is very very indicative to us when people turn in their assignments. We can tell if they've watched the video or not because there's some interesting things that we want you to do here. So I hope everybody has got your seat belts fastened because this is going to be a fast one tonight. Like I said, I'm going to run through everything, but instead of explaining everything slowly like I usually do every night, we are just going to kind of do it. So what I did today, I went over to Indaba and I downloaded a new song so we could start from scratch, Race the Tide from The Enemy. That's awesome. So I downloaded this, and then I went ahead and I dragged them into Pro Tools. I almost said I drug them into Pro Tools, but it's like you can't drug things like that, man. You got to drag them, man. You got to drag. So let's put them all at the beginning. Actually, I want to spot these to measure 3, so I'm going to go spot, measure 3. Oh, look at that. I did it twice. I put it in spot mode, and then I right-clicked. All right, so what you will see is that eventually, once you get a click track in, it is going to drift because 120 is your default click. And then when you can turn it on and off up under your transport window, all right, make sure you turn it on, and let's just get this thing set. All right, so let's go back to the beginning. All right, that's a little bit loud. So what I forgot to do real quick is just do a little bit of routing here. So let me take everything that is here, background vocals, all the way to actually the click I want separate. And I'm going to route everybody to the sub master. Now, remember, the sub master, I told you I wasn't going to explain things a whole lot. My sub master right now, I'm doing this simply so I can turn everything up and down quickly as I need and talk over it. So hear that click, and what's going to see is that it's not working. It might start okay, but it's going to drift because it's not exact, right? It's already drifting. All right, so the way we do this is identify beat, and you're going to generally take the drum track, and what you do is you find a good loop first. So we're going to take this. Now, I'm going to do tab to transient. So because I haven't edited this yet, because I haven't figured out the exact tempo yet, I kind of want to get an idea. And I think it's close. But so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go out of conductor mode. And I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to play this and tap the T key while I'm going, just so I can kind of get an idea. Now, that's kind of hard because I'm listening to the click track, I think. So 118 or so. All right, so what I'm going to do is, so that way I just did that, so if the computer tells me it's 200 and something, I know it's off, right? So I get my selector tool up here, all right? Get my selector tool up here. I'm going to make sure my tab to transient button is on. I'm going to tab to transient. I'm going to kind of get an idea of where a good loop is. I'm going to make sure that my Insertion follows playback is off, so I can keep the same starting point. 4, 1, 2, 3. So for my, so if I go to right here, right, Shift Tab now, that should be a good loop. Now make sure we're in loop playback. I right clicked for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So that works, right? But it says that it's a little over a measure, and so this is where we identify a beat. And so we say identify beat, identify beat, and I say I really want that to be 3 to 4. So at that point it says it's 117 point something whatever. So I want that to be the same, so I put it here. I add the tempo and I put it before there so it gets the same, and I say I want the same thing at measure 1. Whoops. Command Z. Whoops. All right, cancel that. I went too quick. Too quick. All right, put it right here. And then hit this. And then I want that to be at measure 1. That's what we want. Resolution quarter notes always. So we hit the AUK button, right? But now this is shifted off of measure 1, so now we have to shift everybody back to measure 1, right? Because look, see, they don't start, back to measure 3. See how they all drifted off? So we're going to hit Option, and we're going to spot everybody. So I'm going to get the grabber. And this is what I mean by the one-time click. I just right-click. And see, I don't have to be in spot mode over here. I just one-time go to spot, put it at measure 3, and now when I go back, everything should be fine. You hear how it's getting off a little bit now? So when it starts getting off a little bit like this, so I'm going to go ahead and fix it just a couple places where I heard it. It's starting to get off right there. So this right here, boom, boom, boom. So it says 64896. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to identify beat and call that measure 7 instead, because I know that's what they're trying to be. And now look, it's right back to it. Let's just check right here. 15067. So let's clean that up. Command I, and we're just going to call it 15. Because see, as it gets there. And so let's say this is one more spot. I tab to transient. It's off a little bit, so I just Command I, call it measure 19. And this is how I would fix those drifting tracks. I know some people talked about this. So I'm going to hit Command S at this point. So now it is tempo mapped. I'm going to now do a save as, and I'm going to call it mapped. All right, so now I want to add my memory locations to it. So we go up into Window, Memory Locations. What mode should I now go to since my click track works? And somebody is shouting out grid mode, but they're not shouting it out quick enough, so I'm going to tell you. There you go. So now that I'm in grid mode, I put myself to a big bar, right? And that way I don't have to be perfect, right? And I'm just going to hit enter on my big keyboard. All right, so now I've done a couple of them. We expect you to do the entire song. Is everybody cool with that? Ah, people are coming in. I got like twice as many people now. Everybody's like, "Shh, I'm not. I'm trying to sneak in. I gotta get in the back of the class here. I wanted to catch this, but I didn't want to interrupt everybody." So it's all right. I'm glad to have y'all here, everybody. I'll catch y'all at the end of class, though. All right, so I got some questions popping up. It says for this session, some reason it didn't work with the identified beat, so I changed it to 118, and it seemed to work through the tracks. Zach, if you are hearing it click correctly, that's all I care about, brother. I do want to see, though, at least one tempo change in there to match. All right. Did you say we hit return or enter? Was the next question in from Mitch. So, with a large keyboard with your calculator keypad, you now hit the enter button that is on that calculator side. We good? Any others? All right. Sounds like y'all had some. Oh, yeah. Other people. All right. I see some other chat up there. But we're just rocking out right now. And it's all cool. So, y'all doing all right? I feel bad I haven't been busting out the jokes like I normally have, but we're, gotten in some business. So now I got this all mapped out. So now I'm going to do another save. I'm going to do another save as because we're about to start mapping out new instruments. So now we had that mapped finally, and so now we're going to start with our bass. And actually, no, we should start with drums, but it's all right. So now, what everybody is going to do at this point, we are going to hide everything except the lead vocals and make it inactive, right? So we're going to shift click all of these, all of these, all of these, except we can keep the background vocals too, right? So all of these hide and make inactive. I right clicked, all right? So now we should just have, and it didn't start till the verse. All right, so that's good. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with the verse to verse 2 for right now. At night I dream of killer whales and barely ever get away. At night I dream of killer whales. Everybody cool with that? All right, so what I'm gonna do then, I'm gonna skip that MIDI and aux track idea, and I'm gonna go just for instrument tracks right now. Okay. And so what we're going to do is I'm just going to get more tracks than I think I'm going to need, right? All my new tracks. And so, because we're going to need, at least 3 rhythms, at least 3 secondary rhythms, a bass, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So let's just get like 15, not 115, just 15 stereo instrument tracks right now. And we'll get that going on. And then for some effects and things like that, we'll just get 5. And well, actually, let's get more than we think we're going to need. Let's get 10 stereo aux tracks because we'll use those for effects and for subgroups and things like that. And I think that's good for right now. All right. So for right now, let's just get a couple of these going on. Boom. I'm going to take this. And so what we're going to keep doing right now is I'm going to, just for organization, I'm going to make a quick number 90. Actually, cancel. I'm not seeing everything I want to see. Where's lead vocals? There we go. All right. So since this is good for this right now, and actually I don't want to see my own stuff right there. So we'll leave that, and we're good. And so now I'm going to do enter, and I'm going to make this one number 91. and we're going to call this Vox. And I'm only going to remember this and this. So we've got that to work with. And then I'm going to go ahead and add an instrument track on the bottom. All right, we'll keep our vocals blue at this point. We'll start making our instrument tracks. Sorry guys, I like to make my vocals red. Sorry. And matter of fact, I'm going to make my lead vocal even bright red. All right. And let's go ahead and get this session kind of set up real quick because I want my markers colored up. So let's go up and get our display preferences. So Pro Tools Preferences. In my display preferences, I want the always display my track colors. That's going to take care of my track colors up here. And then I want my clip colors to be the same as my track colors, and that way it's easy for me to tell what part I'm working on. All right, so now we're going to call this drums. Now, I've said last time we're going to call this drums MIDI. And what we're going to do is put input quantize on here. All your MIDI events. Oh, I told you I wasn't going to go into teaching mode. I'm going to input quantize my drums so I can work better with them and quicker with them. I just like doing that. So now I put an insert on here. Oh, I'm missing my instrument track. I've got to be able to see my instrument track. And now we're able to see the routing. See how it's routed nowhere right now? Well, as soon as I add a plugin on, my expand, it's going to automatically route it to that expand, right? And then so the difference, check this out. I had a couple questions on this. Most, all plugins will have presets up here. But then notice how they also have parts down here that make up these presets, right? And so I may have counted off for you if you changed a part down here instead of a preset up here. I hope everybody was catching that. All right, so now let's record on my track. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go in. Y'all have seen me record twice and record onto it. I'm going to do something new this time. I'm going to record like an MPC and just kind of keep looping over it, all right? So let's go from, oh, see how this got weird? Let's see what that did. Oh, because it was a marker. I didn't want it to mark anything. So I got, all right. So let's loop from verse 1 to verse 2. Now check this out. Let's get my drum 3 fingers down. And so let's go ahead and call this all tracks so we just don't start losing things, right? Oh. Right click. 90. All tracks. And now I've got to go redo my vocals, but I'll do that in a minute. All right, so all right, check this out. Notice that when I went into loop record, my merge button came off, and that's not how an MPC works. An MPC works in loop mode. So check this out. I'm going to go to normal mode, but when I put myself in loop playback but normal mode, I can have MIDI merge on. So what you're going to notice is one drum track, and I'm going to keep adding things to it. Let's give a 2-bar count off. I said let's give a 2-bar count off. How you like that? Cool, cool. So what I'm and I can make that go on a long time. I'll show you that again later on if you want to hang out afterwards. But now I've got a kick, a snare, and an open hat. So one of the things I like to do at this point is I like to grab another MIDI effect and I like to split the notes. And that way it's easy to get them all on their own track. So I go all notes. I want to split them away, cut them, and I want each track, each pitch to have its own track, right? Because then it's going to give me 4 different drum tracks, right? So now when I go here, let's unrecord on these. All right, and now because they're all highlighted, I'm going to hold down Shift and Option, and I'm going to put the expand. Actually, I'm going to take the expand. I'm going to take this track and just hide it and make it inactive. All right, let's all right, so let's go 2, 3, 4. I'm not, you know what? I still think there's a bug. For some reason, it doesn't give me that ability until they're all gone. All right, so anyway, I'm going to quick name them open hat, closed hat, snare, and kick, right? Just because I know those are the notes, right? Now I'm going to hold down Shift and Option. And let's put this on A. Let's go up to the open hat. Shift and Option, and let's get the expand again. And because I held down Shift and Option, it puts the expand on all of them. I said because I hit Shift and Option, it put expand on all of them. Let's try this again, shall we? Let's take it off of here. There we go. So see how it did it all at once because I was holding Shift and Option. All right. So what I'm going to do up here for my open hat, I'm going to go get a drum kit from the pop kit. I'm going to move down to closed hat. I'm going to use that same pop kit since they work together like that. For the snare, I'm going to use maybe that live kit because it's got some cool sounds on that. And then for the kick drum, I'm going to use my electronic dub. I like that because it's got a nice little synthy sound on that kick there. So electronic dub, right? And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one more instrument track. I'm going to take this guy, get my grabber, and because I'm in grid mode, I can just option click. So I can layer my drums, right? And because those are the same, I'm going to name this kick 2. Right? And then I'm going to consolidate it, right? And watch the name. The reason that I consolidate it is because I don't want it the same here, right? So I'm going to consolidate it. And then that's going to allow me to take it and move it from here to there. And now let's put one more expand on. And I get my electronic dub kit again. All right, so now we have this. It's like once I move them, then they start working again. But until I move them manually up for. All right, so let's kind of mix as we go. I'm going to kind of pull that snare down. Actually, what I'm going to do is I know that I'm going to want all of these in a group, so I'm going to go ahead and get a little mixed group together going on. So if I take, actually no, I'm not gonna do that yet. I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of. right, and I start doing some cool things. Maybe I start popping the kicks towards the center, right, pulling my snare out to the side a little bit, right, and I just kind of like to mix as I go a little bit, right, and I know you're not going to hear that because it's a mono there. All right, so now that I've got that going on, let's go ahead and get some more instruments before we get more into a mixing type of thing. So file, I'm going to do another save as. Let's start getting our second rhythm. And then so very quickly, I'm going to just grab 3 more instrument tracks. 3 fingers down. I'm going to now, let's name this like tambourine, I think shaker, and then I'm going to put a loop in. All right, so what I'm going to do at this point, let's go ahead and get a, let's re-update all tracks. Ah, darn it. You see what I did? I clicked on it instead of right-clicked on it. So, right-click on all tracks. Oh, and see, nope. Take off marker. I want none. Okay, there we go. All tracks. And then let's go ahead and take off the vocals. Background vocals, and where were the lead vocals? There. Background and lead. And 3 fingers down. Enter. Drums. And we're going to let that one be 91. Okay, so tambourine. For these, I've been using Boom. I've just to really show y'all some different plugins and things like that. Boom is more of a sampler-driven one, so we'll load up Boom on all these guys. Now, why isn't it? I'm trying to do the shift and option, and it's being persnickety on me tonight. There, see, it does it the second time, but it didn't do it the first time. Oh well. All right, so let's record something here. All right, we'll pretend that is a tambourine. All right, and then a shaker. All right, so now all right, let's get a nice little loop going on. Yeah. Saying how is he laying down the rhythm so fast? He's going so fast, I'm gonna have to rewind my behind. He's going so fast, I don't know why. Alright, you ready? Sorry. I just had to break out in a little groove right there. Oh, something else. Sorry to be such a tease. I'm going to just lay down a couple loops, but then I'm going to show you how you can do some stutter type of things with the loops on the second half of it, all right? Whoops. I'm going to do that one more time. So I'm going to check this out. Yeah, let's just delete it. then you're just kind of grabbing parts of the loop. Coco. All right. Sabe. Let's get some bed tracks in here. So we're going to save as. We're going to call this bed tracks. So now let's start. Actually, no. At this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a what are you instrument 2 down here? I don't need you right now. Don't need you. All right, check it out. Shift, and now Option and Shift, and at this point we are going to commit. And this is the big thing right here, guys. Do not delete your MIDI tracks. Just hide them and make them inactive. Copy all your sends and everything. Let's do it offline. And now I was going to say it's going to mute my voice. But now check it out. I simply just 3 fingers down, and I redo my drums. Okay. Right? And now let's actually redo drums and take that back to none. All right. And now when I go to all tracks, I need to take these, hide them, and go add on all those audio tracks I just made. 3 fingers down, right click on all tracks. Okay, so now we're here. Now we wanted some bed tracks, so let's get some bed tracks going on. Bed tracks. So bass, kick, bass, bass, MIDI. We'll do a lead MIDI and a pad and a counter. All right. So 3 fingers down. All right. So I'm changing the view by hitting 3 fingers down and the sideways arrows. So I'm going to get back to clip view. There we go. All right. So for my bass, let's go with the vacuum. A lot of people think the vacuum sucks. The vacuum sucks. In my house, I just don't have space for a vacuum. Space for a vacuum. I think they said this was F sharp minor. F sharp minor. All right. So let's kind of get in here and we'll do something then. You know what? I'm not real crazy about that sound though. I usually like that sound. That'll work for right now. All right. So just set up, and then you're going to be going. Now remember, you're not just doing. You're not just doing. All right. So look, check it out. I'm going to take MIDI merge off now. I'm going to go into loop record for this. You're going to do the whole song. All right, so whatever. So now what you can do, because you were doing that, just so you know, like I really liked bass 2, burst 2, but I can put that right there, bass 2, but then I can build up like I want to do bass 3 after that, and then bass 4 after that, right? So you can build up your mixes or whatever, right? And then maybe you wanted to duplicate those or whatever. Just remember there's all kinds of stuff. All right, now at this point, I'm going to hit save. I'm going to go take off my input quantize because that's really the only thing that I like hardcore locked is the bass and the drums. Now I like my other things to kind of play around a little bit. So let's get a piano over here for my lead. Y'all, I'm just a piano player, so that's why I default to the piano for my lead. I'm a piano player, a keyboard slayer. Concert hall back row. Oh, that might be kind of cool. Let's see what it sounds like. It's loading. Oh, hear that verb? That'll be kind of neat. Let's do it. All right, so that'll work. So check it out. Matching alternates. I'm just gonna, when you get these matching, I right-clicked on this. Another way, when you loop, you can just go to matching alternates and pull the one you like. So we got. All right, so now let's do this real quick. Was that it? I was like, why am I not hearing my drums? All right, so let's take this and this, right? And what we're going to do is go ahead and commit these. 1, 2, 3 clicks, though. So let's, just to keep this going on, commit those. All right, so what I'm going to do then, real quick, is I'm going to go back to all tracks, and then I'm going to add the bass and the lead, 3 fingers down, right click, and now I've got those. Now you know what's I'm gonna redo those. I'm gonna delete those 2 tracks, just because they look like flat lines. Delete. Yeah, I know. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back here because what happened is they got that way. Let's take these 2. The only thing that hadn't, let's make them active, is I just had to pull down too low. So when you're committing these, have them up at 0, even though we're going to pull them down. Right? 1, 2, 3. Shift click. And then when we commit them. There, now I get some good waveforms. Now I'm going to just re-click all tracks. Okay. And now I can pull them back down into my mixed neighborhood. So let's go back here real quick. All right, so now bass, I'm going to start getting more there on my lead. All right, so check this out. We're going to have an all group here. All right, let's just take this all group and let's just pull everybody down for a minute. Turn it back off. I got to turn me back up, though. Where's me? He's like, turn me down. turn me down. I got to turn up. Now you can hear me like, where'd Steve go? I can't hear him anymore. All right. So now we're just kind of, organizing this thing. So now we've got a better mix. Because what's going to happen, I don't want my master going out. I've got to keep my master at 0. All right, so we're just doing verse 1 to verse 2. Now, you right there, see as low as his vocal is, this is somewhere where I would totally start using EQs to start picking him up a little bit, right? And if you got in here and got some kind of vocal thing, so let's just add a nice smooth vocal, but right, and then I might put a little compressor after him. Just something nice and soft to pick him up, some leveling. And that way I can hear it as I want to pull him down. All right, let's pause for questions. We're doing good. We almost got all our instruments in, and then we're going to have an hour to fool around with our session delivery. All right, so let's go back here, and that we've got that. Let's do a save. So now we've got 3 fingers down. We've got all that. That's what all tracks looks like. Bass. So right click, all tracks. Okay. So now let's add a pad and the counter melody tracks in here. So I'm going to go ahead and right click on those again for all tracks. And we'll focus on this pad. This time, I think for the pads, I used an organ last time just because I just like showing y'all all the different, plugins and things like that. Yeah, let's just use that just so you see the different interface. And again, let me stress that, most plugins, as you pop up, see how they have a preset here in the library, right? So I'll go here and we'll just, a nice little ballad or something. And these don't have to be chords. Whatever. Here we go. I'm just doing normal playback, no loops. All right, cool. And so that works. And then let's see. You're going to need, we wanted to make some effects on this. Let's make this. Let's get just our bed tracks for just a minute. So let's take all of that stuff off. And then my 2 off. Background vocals, lead vocals, 3 fingers down. And we're going to call this bed tracks. We'll make that 93 because I wanted vocals in there as 92 something. But we'll figure. I want to look again. I accidentally left marker on. That's how you know when it pops up in the middle there. All right, so we got our bed tracks going on. And so let's get our counter melody going on. So we'll just take this and we'll duplicate that out. And then we'll take this and then we'll use that expand one last time because that's got some nice. I like acoustical instruments, so I'm going up to the preset again. Let's do some strings. Yeah, there we go. No, we already. I got an organ holding out that kind of stuff. Octave saxes. There we go. We'll see what that sounds like. Maybe it'll be pretty saxy. Sorry, I'm just. Well, let's see if we can make something with this sound. So let's do something right here. Whatever. All right. So now we've got that going on. Let's take these. And we said we're going to add a little automation to this thing now because one of the things that you're going to see in your remix guidelines down here when you're looking at your rubric is automation is used on volume, pan, and a plugin of your choice. Automation plugins for these three types should be displayed in the session, and it is worth 5 points. All right, so what you're gonna do, yo, is just get some. I'm just gonna automate that Leslie cabinet. Forget what you know. Learn this one, Oh, and look, because I didn't have it record arm that did not go through. You got to have the MIDI message record arm before the MIDI message actually goes through and turn to their little list knob. Didn't know that, did you? Oh, uh-oh. I was just thinking right there that MIDI's destructive, and unless I do a MIDI merge on that there's going to just record over all them notes and not put on this Leslie cabinet that I'm wanting to put on. And nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. All right, and so now what we mean by leave the automation lane, show us that you have it here, right? Show us that you have it. Show us that you have it. So we did this one, and that way I can tell it. And then maybe you even want to add a little comment. Add a little comment. Add a little comment. Like, yo, man, I automated the Leslie cab. Cool. Yeah, brah. Yeah, brah. That's what I'm saying, man. All right, so let's take these. Let's put them back at 0 or 0 or 0 0. Commit them. Fingers down. Let's go ahead and make these in the bed family as well. So they're in the bed family. All right, so let's look. Just do a little housekeeping. Save. Let's go look at all our tracks now, and then so we can take these two and hide them out. And just add back our new pad and new counter, 3 fingers down, and right click again. And now I've got all that. All right. So we got all our stuff in there. I've got 7 minutes to get some mixy going on. I just tried to have all this like done in the first hour. So now, all right. So that should have taken us through. That should have taken us through doing a main rhythm, doing a secondary rhythm. Remember, big things. I am leaving all the MIDI tracks in there, right? You're only using plugins that we gave you, none of this wave stuff and all that kind of stuff. Ideally, separate the tracks, right? Leave the MIDI tracks in there. We got a secondary rhythm. We got a bass in there. We're using our comments. We put a pad, a lead, and a melodic counterpart. So now we're going to work with these vocals a little bit, put a couple, work on a mixing type of thing. And if I totally forget to do an atmosphere, you can chew me out later, but let's get a little mixing thing going on here. All right, so for my vocals here, I want to get down. Let's take all of these off. 3 fingers down. And let's add a couple auxes. 3 fingers down. Because it is typical to have a verb for your vox and a delay for your vox. Right? So what I'm going to do is just save a little time here. I'm going to take off mine to show you a little bit more room. So what we're going to do then is I'm going to take my lead vocals and I'm going to send one of them to the verb and one of them to the delay. All right. So I'm going to send one of them to the verb. And I'm going to send one of them to the delay. Now, you see by doing that, it automatically lined up that output and that input, right? So now I'm going to put a, I like putting my verbs here. So we're going to this time put a reverb. And we're going to just start with a preset and see what we like. Maybe a vocal plate, see how that goes. And then a vocal delay, maybe some kind of cool little dotted eighth note or something like that. That's not the delay I was looking for. That's the delay I like. So let's try some dotted eighth, see how that kind of fits things in. So what I'm going to do now is while we're doing this, let's grab another aux track. 3 fingers down. And now let's hit enter. And let's call this Vox. And what do we need? Number 92. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to call this Vox subs. All right. And we're going to use this for now. As I'm editing, what I also might want to do is just take these 2 tracks, if I was editing them, and go ahead and make a Vox group for mixing and editing too. Now, I like that more because when I'm here, I like it more for editing, because if I wanted to take this and chop it and then pop it back there, they always stick together. But then for mixing, what I prefer is this Vox sub. So what I'm going to do is send all 4 of these to my Vox sub now. Right? So now let's add some reverb. Let's solo these out. I've got to solo safe my Vox sub. I've got to solo safe my effects. I've got to solo safe my submaster. And I actually have to come through and solo safe my voice, or it's not going to keep letting us do that. All right, so now let's listen. Let's solo safe our vocals. And let's get up here to that first verse.
At night I dream of killer whales and barely ever get away. They chase me down into the deep blue sea and I can't scream. All I do is wait.
Oh, you know what? So are these
Stare at me, stare at me, stare
where is that?
the whale and the whale and barely.
So he's got a delay in that lead vocal track already.
At night night a dream of killer whale.
Because that's not coming through my delay. Let's see what's coming on all tracks. Let's see what's happening.
At night a dream of killer whale. And
Yeah, it's right on that lead vocal track. Look at it.
at night a dream of killer whale. And barely ever.
Ah, so check it out. If you wanted to, you could go in slip mode. I would probably get myself a little bit more of that. Tab to transient, tab to transient. Look at that. Option tab.
Dream of killer whale. Barely ever.
Now, do you hear that clip? So what I might take is this right here and do a fade out.
At night a dream of killer whale. Barely ever get.
You like that? All right. I'm going to hit save. All right, so now we got that going on. Let's go back and look at our Vox. All right.
At night a dream of killer whale. Barely ever.
Because, see, I was wanting to take the delay there and then do something like this.
At night a dream of killer whale. Barely ever get away.
And so what we might do there is take the automation on that. You know what? Actually, what I want to do is I want to take the volume first, and I want to just kind of pencil in a little bit of rise for that, and then get them right back down to where we were.
At night a dream of killer whale.
See? All right, so that's going to take care of that automation when I'm talking about volume automation and panning automation. So you're going to leave that there, and then you could say automated volume on Vox. All right? And then if you wanted to do a second one, if you wanted to, you could take this delay Vox, and this time let's look at the delay Vox level, and then write in something like that.
At night a dream of killer whale. Barely ever get away.
You know, whatever. So let's hit save. So now I've got, and so there's two automation tracks in here, so don't let me count off for it. You know, what you want to do is tell me, come on, click, click. Click, click, come on. Come on, go down to the next line. Also on the delay send. Whatever, all right? So we got that going on. We've got some vocals, and now I take our vocal subs, and we're going to send our vocal subs to the sub master. Cool. So we got that going on. Let's go to verse 1. And so let's get all our tracks here. And, oh yeah, our pad, and that is still just screaming loud, isn't it? All right, so now as we're going through, let me make sure that I got all the essential parts here first before we start getting into delivery method. So background, got a delay in that, and then I also wanted to kind of show you some of the mixing aspects. So while we've got that, let's take our drums and let's do some quick routing with our drums again. Let's take another aux. We're going to call this, we're going to make it blue. Drum sub. So we're going to take all the hats, all the drums, right? Shift and Option, we're going to send them out to my drum subs. Then I'm going to save my drum sub to my sub master. This is another time when you probably want to go ahead and also group your tracks, man. Call them drum tracks like that. Not mine. All right. So now, look, on our rubric, we've done a couple things that I just want to pay attention to. We have made two subgroups because we made aux tracks for our vocals and our drums, and then we also made two edit mix groups. All right. So now, with that being said, I think we're good, and we're going to pretend that we spent some time mixing and it's sounding good, right? So, and then notice that I have no effects on here yet. So let's go back and let's now, we're going to pretend this is all mixed. File, save as, mixed. Whoops. Mix rough. Now, for this main mix, what we're going to do, and that's that. All right, so let's go back to here. So let's start going up for, I didn't do the ambience and pads and all that, but pretend there's a wind effect going on that. We did that the other night. All right, so save copy in to create an archive that includes the audio files, right? So when we're doing that, we want to do a save copy in, right? That includes our archives. But what I've got to do, though, is because I'm reading ahead, I also want to have a 16-bit bounce that is going to, I'm going to need to put dither on my master fader in order to go down in bit depth. All right, so check this out. All right, remember, it's required to have a 16-bit interleave bounce folder within it. You will need to create a folder, name it bounce, and copy the stereo bounce in there. Finally, right-click the name and compress that. Now, when I look over here, remember that we talked about the other night that when I'm doing a mix, that I want to put dither is the only plugin I want, and that's because I'm going down in bit depth. Right? So when I do this 16-bit bounce, I want to put a dither plugin on that master fader and tell it that I'm going down to 16-bit. All right, so first let's do our bounce with 16-bit. All right, so in bounce world, if I don't make a selection, it's going to bounce the entire song, and I don't want it bouncing the entire song. So I just want it bouncing here, what we've been working on, of verse 1 to verse 2. All right, just that. That's what we're going to bounce. So we're going to go File, Bounce to Disk. Okay, and when I do this, because I've put my dither on, now we can put a 16-bit 44.1 bounce on there, right? And I'm doing this first before I'm doing this, and I'll call this 16-bit bounce. Come on now. My shift key is sticky. I got some sticky shift, you know what I'm saying? 16-bit bounce. Choose. So 16-bit, I don't want to add the MP3 right now. And then I'm going to do this offline so it happens quicker than real time. You can choose the easy for me to say, right? But don't change this. I want it put right there in that bounce files folder, all right? But watch what happens. I've got somebody that is asking me if they use this song, if they have to delete the Vox delays like I did. You don't have to, but I want you to remember though that if you're trying to put your own delays on top of it, I just did it because I knew there was something weird going on, and I didn't want it was confusing me whether it was the delay I was doing or the delay they created. So as long as you're working with it creatively, I'm fine with it. Good question, Rich. All right, so Let's go take a look over here, though. So now, in my session that I created tonight, and by the way, I think I did it in section 2 just to be a little bit craftier. So we've got all these save as's that I've been doing. And notice that now I've got my bounced file in the enemy, right? So right there. But so now is when I'm going to go do my save copy in, all right? So let's go back up here. So we're using a save copy in, but you're gonna it's if you don't do the bounce first, you know what I'm saying. So it's easier to do the bounce first because then I don't have to go recopy it. So let's go do our save, and then remember we're gonna need to rename our song. So now we go back and we go File, Save Copy In, and this is where I want it the same 48K 24-bit, right? So many people make the mistake and they give me 44.1 24-bit or something right here. Don't do that. I need it to 48K 24-bit and copy the audio files, right? Copy the audio files. And it's going to ask me where. Just put it right on your desktop, all right? Now, it says copy of. I don't want that. And then I don't want you to give me where you were working on it. I just want to know all that. So take off the ending things that you've been doing during your save as. So now I'll do this save. And now it's loading up real quick here, right? So now I look on my desktop, but check it out. Guess what? It ain't there. Something's wrong, man. Look at this. Look at this. Would you look at it? Steve Kane, the enemy. Look at that. That bounce file ain't even there. It's like a pack of angry beavers just ate it up and chunked it all up. So what you gotta do is you gotta go add yourself one of their bounce folders. So remember, you're required to turn in your 16-bit 44.1 bounce interleaved bounced files within your archive. You're going to need to create a folder and name it bounce, like, yo, I got a bounce, right? So check it out, yo. In this little folder right here, you take it right here, you hit shift command in, I get a new folder. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to name it. If I was in France, I would name it La Bounce, but I'm not in France, so I'm not going to name it La Bounce. I'm just going to name it Bounce. And remember, that was just French for the bounce anyway. So I got Bounce. And now guess what? I got to do a little copy. So I'm going to get myself a new window because look, there ain't nothing in that Bounce window, is there? Watch me now. Look, I'm going to go get my original session that I put in my 1702. Remember that bounced 16-bit file that it gave us? Watch. Option. Watch this. Option drag. Wow. And now I've got my folder named with and I've got all my audio files and the bounce file in there. And the bounce file is 16 bitito, which just means, well, it doesn't really mean bits. I was just making that one up. It just sounded good, man. All right, finally, right-click that new name file and compress it like a pack of angry beavers was trying to compress it and stick it in their dam. Right click, compress. I like that guy. I wanted to do the Dodge Ram commercials and the Duluth Trading. Have y'all heard those commercials? Go on YouTube and listen to the Duluth Trading Minute guy. That's going to take about 6 minutes, really? Really? It's going to take about 6 minutes? All right, so let's talk about this for a second. See how long it's taken this? It's going to take you about 4 hours to upload a song on this. So do not try to start your upload at like 11:58 on that Saturday night, because I'm going to have so many like, dude, my upload's taking so long, bro. And then what I'm going to have is like, it's taking like 5 hours to upload it. Well, let me tell you something. Upload speed is not generally equal to download speed. Right? a lot of people, because they're like wanting to download everything, so like I can download like everything so fast, but my upload is so slow. Take that into consideration when you're uploading your song to me. Just as this is taking a few minutes to fully compress, um, you're going to need to take that. I've got a great question, and by the way, if you got any other questions, lay them on me here. This is a great song. So, let's see. So the bounce file is 16-bit and 44 1-bit, but the session file is 24-bit. That is absolutely correct. So let's talk about this for a second. I create this session, and this is going to be my main session. After I mix it, I'm going to send it to a mastering engineer, and that mastering engineer is going to make certain versions for CD, certain versions for DVD, certain versions for streaming and all that. For the CD version, he is going to make it 16-bit 44.1 because that's all a CD can be, right? So that's why we put dither on it and did ourselves a 16-bit bounce so we could make CDs from it. The other bounce that I would normally do at this point, we're not directing you to do it, but you would do another bit, another bounce at the end of this normally, and you bounce to disk, and I bounce my regular stereo file back as 24-bit 48K. But guess what I do on this time? Before I bounce it, and that would be my version. When I bounce that, when I go and do this one, whoops, sorry, undo that. When I go and I do this version, 24-bit 48K, right? And then I would name that one something like (24-bit) bounce, right? And so and this is something that a mastering engineer does, right? Because they're the ones that make it different for DVD and CD and LP and all that kind of stuff. Great question, Rich. All right, so is that finally compressing less than a minute? Isn't that the longest minute that it ever takes? All right, so that is what you're going to upload. So please heed my warning. This is going to be a large file, and it is going to take forever to upload. I would literally start at 6 p.m. or so Sunday night, if you're going to wait that long, and give yourselves at least 6 hours to download this thing, okay? Everybody hear me. Hear me now, believe me later. All right, so now I've got this zip file, and that's what we're going to put up on here. You're going to go to your page, and you are going to upload this to Dropbox because this is too big for our stuff. So you're going to load up your Dropbox, and you're going to pretend that you uploaded this thing. I'm not going to upload it here because it would take forever, right? But you're going to upload your files right there, right? And you're going to upload that. Yeah, I'm not going to upgrade, and you shouldn't either, right? You're going to upload that zip file right there, okay? That's what you're going to upload. And then once it's done, let's pretend that this is what you wanted to send to me, right? And this is what you uploaded. You're going to hit the share button. You are not going to put my email address in here, right? What you're going to do is copy the link right here. You're going to copy this link and hit Command-C. And then you're going to go over here, and over here you're going to have your week 4, and you're going to have your project remix submission right here. And check it out. Follow the instructions and download a link, right? All of this stuff, right? Read this, and then you're going to say pop, 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 pop. Now it's not letting me do this because it's a preview page, but you're going to paste your link right in here, okay? And then you're going to hit save, and you're going to deliver it that way under the project remix project submission. So, and estimate how long will it take to compress, upload to Dropbox, then upload it to FSO. It is too big and it will not upload to FSO. They've got file restrictions on the size, and so I doubt that it would even upload to FSO. I think it would be too big. So hence why we have you upload it to Dropbox. So, um, Dropbox. I mean, I've got a really fast internet connection. If you want to test yours, internet speed test or whatever. Let's see what I'm doing today. Let's see what I'm doing. Run speed test. Da 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 da. So I'm hitting 20-ish megabits upload. Or for download, let's see what upload is. Oh, come on, baby. Look at that. Look at that. Now, this is because I've got a business line because of my VR business. And so I've got a faster upload. But, oh, look at that. That is pretty crazy. That is way crazy. But, do a test on yours. You're going to probably find that unless you're paying for a business line, your upload speed is generally a lot slower than that. Because I do a little bit of VR work, and I got to have that up there. So, with that being said, just plan on a good 6 hours. And then if you're finding that it's still not fast enough or getting there, send us a picture, at least letting us see that it's been uploading for hours. I don't want to get an email saying, dude, I started uploading it at 11:58 and it said it's going to take 4 hours. All right, so we compressed it. So session delivery. We're uploading our file to Dropbox. After it's uploaded, you click the share button. You copy the link. You do not add our email address. You do not add the email address. Because guess what that'll get you? Hang on. Hang on, I'll tell you. I'll tell you what it'll get you. It'll get you. Oh, look at that. I didn't even put my reverb on my voice tonight. Holy cow, I knew I was sounding a little bit funky because usually I've got this going on just to kind of give me a little boosty boost. You know what I'm saying? Come on. I usually go right here, give myself a little boost. And then this isn't normal stuff to daisy chain effects like this, but I was just doing it. 0. Oh, so now I got to route it, right? So now 0. All right, there we go. 0. Oh, you want it better than that? 0, 0, 0. So, and we don't, no, ain't nobody got time for that. All right, don't forget to click your activity. Some people say, why did I get a 0 on this? Because you didn't complete the activity. Come on, you're killing me. All right, so let's go over this. There is no hidden points here, okay? No hidden points. Everything is right here. So, I can record with effects on, right? Yes, I generally record with a little reverb on. Projects must be delivered with audio files. If you deliver them without files, you will get a 0. 0. So the dither is a mono dither and is just set to 16-bit. It is actually not a mono dither. It's stereo, brah. But it is set to 16-bit. Word to the big bird. Let's see. Do we need to consolidate our clips on each of the track? Clips consolidation is not needed, but it is definitely a way to keep your session looking very snazzy. What I mean by that, guys, sometimes you might have this right here, and let's say this is your session, right? We don't want to see that. And then it breaks down. Come on. And then you go from here to here, to here, and then you got that again, right? And you're doing these kind of things. Just do us a final favor and then get back everything out and do a consolidation so everything looks just beautifully and wonderfully concise and tight. Um, that's the easiest way to make your sessions look good. All right. And to not have them mess up because then you can just drag everything out of that to the very beginning. Let's say, great question, Mitch. Good. All right. So, where were we? So don't be that person that doesn't hit that audio file button and get a 0. No third-party plugins. Keep your cool plugins to yourself. You can tell me all about them. Make sure you leave me your MIDI tracks. Otherwise, you are going to get a 0. Zero. All right, enough of that. All right, the easiest way to lose 5 points is to not name it correctly. I shouldn't say the easiest way, the silliest way. All right, so make sure you've taken off any names, like if you were doing mixing and overdubs and doing save ases along the way, like Homeboy Kane did. That's my rap name, Homeboy Kane. Kane. I'm like the wrestler Kane. I'm like 5'4" though, and so when the wrestler came over to Full Sail, Kane was there over at Full Sail, right? And I'm on the we got to get up there on the front row, and he walks around, and I'm like, that's funny. Steve Kane standing next to Kane, and it's like 2 feet difference. It's funny. You have access to the YouTube archives as long as you save those fancy wancy links. Make sure that your session is in 24-bit 48K. Most people don't do that because it is not. I don't know why they don't do that, but I go up here and I just check your session setup, and I make sure that it's 48K 24-bit. All right. Ain't nobody got time for nothing else. All classes with the lectures are available for your convenience. The session click locked to the beginning of the track. We did that. We laid out 5 memory locations, right? Make sure they're labeled. I don't want to have location 1, location 2. Who knew you? Main rhythm, kick, snare, and hat as separate audio tracks. Don't delete the MIDI. Give me the secondary rhythm tracks. I'll separate it out. Give me a bass. If you record it live, tell me in the comments. If it's MIDI, leave the MIDI. If anything is done MIDI, leave the MIDI. Another that I've been doing in case is screen recording these. Oh, yeah, dude. You want to screen record these? Great. That's awesome. I don't know how much money you're going to make off of these jokes because they've been pretty lame, but, you know. Sorry I haven't told y'all any jokes tonight. I guess I haven't been in that mood. But let's see, what can I think of? Did I tell you what the pirate said on his 80th birthday? Aye, matey. Aye, matey. I'm not 79. Aye, matey. It's our last class, and I'm so sad. I'm confused on sending the remix. Do we send the original also? The original tracks are going to be in there, Gerald. See how my original electric, all these tracks are in there, but they have been made inactive and hidden. All right, so please leave the original tracks in there. Yes, that's what makes part of that file so darn big. All right, but is that answering your question? What about sending the remix? Do we send the original also? So those are going to be in your session. They're just going to be hidden. And what you're doing is after you do your save copy in, right? You're only going to have these couple of folders in here. You're going to have all the audio files you've been using, and then you're going to give me that 16-bit bounce, and then you're going to compress it, and then you're going to load that compressed file up to Dropbox, and you're going to give me that Dropbox link. If we have been on track and each week given a thumbs up, we should be okay. Yeah, Rich. You know, I'm going to tell you the thing that usually gets people are the silly things. Like as we were going through here, not naming it, correctly, not going too quick, and not checking those audio files and getting a zero. So as long as you just go through this rubric and make sure that you've got it, you're going to be fine, because that's what I do. Clearly label your stuff. Don't just, and I know we didn't do an ambience track tonight, but label it. I don't want your stuff starting 5 minutes in. I want it starting by measure 3. So as you hit play, make sure you're using dynamic plugins, so EQs, compressors, at least 2, please. Time-based plugins are used for routing, so make sure you got your aux track and all of those solos saved, that kind of stuff. We want to see at least 2, like a delay and a verb at least. When I say automation here, I'm not talking about using automation mode. I was talking about using your pencil and drawing something in for volume or pan or a plugin. I really want you to listen to week 3's Thursday night lecture. I really explain that in more detail than I did tonight. And then make sure you're showing us those automation playlists. And that's another good thing to do also, is comment in there, okay, on the track which one you did. So we did 2 mix groups. We made sure that everything is labeled correctly. We did 2 subgroups. Remember, those are just aux tracks being routed specially. We used track colors so we can quickly tell our things. We used a master fader, and the only thing on that master fader is the diva. And then last and not least, we got a 16-bit 44.1 bounce in your bounce folder. And that's it, y'all. There's no hidden surprises. I will remind you that we are not grading you subjectively on, like, well, how does he play piano, or how does she play the bass? I don't like it. It's not that. It is, did you do this, right? Now, saying that, I don't want y'all sitting here like, boom, ch, boom, ch, boom, ch, boom, ch, and then your bass is going, doom, 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 doom. All right, tips for coming up with good bass lines. I may have mentioned this before, but you got to sing. Put on the thing and then just sing to yourself. Doom, 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 doom. And if you can't sing it, it's going to be harder to play it. So then try to sing it first, and then go figure out what you were singing with your fingers and stuff like that. That's my tip for learning to improv nicely. So with all this, folks, I'm going to stick around for my live class. They've been so patiently waiting, and they've got some things they want to cover, but we have covered absolutely everything that we need to do. I want to please remind you that you are not going to put our email in your upload for Dropbox. You are only going to copy the link and then put that link back into the remix turn in project, right, with your week 4 remix submission, and you're going to copy your Dropbox link there. So with that being said, if you've got any other questions, feel free to reach out to your instructors. I want to thank Candace, Claude, Daryl, Denise, Gerald, James, Jaron, Mitch, Paul, Rich, Richard, Steve, Terrell, Tim, and Ty and William for all showing up. I've had a great month with you guys. I'm going to stick around for a while after lecture here, as we do every week, just as a extra bonus for you guys showing up live. And we'll get our talking on. But hey, guys, remember the expectation. Don't expect you to remember it the first time. Go back and watch this thing. Don't do these things incorrectly. Reach out to us if you've got any questions. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be in the office tomorrow. I've got some things I've got to take care of, but I will be around here afterwards. Y'all have a great time. I'm going to leave you, let's see, with one, if I had to pick one favorite joke, and I've got to think, because we can't do, they've all got to be, cheesy, clean jokes. I can't do anything that's risque, right? So let me think. What did the guy say when he ran into the bar? Ow. Yeah. Ow. He ran into the bar. All right. With that being said, y'all, I'm Steve. Peace out.